speaking about building capacity for family carers in self-management. Okay.
Thanks. Today I want to talk to you about the work that Carers Victoria is doing to assist carers and caring families to prepare for and transition to the new ways that community supports are being delivered or will be delivered across Australia. Primarily in the aged and disability care sectors, Australia is transforming models of care and support to empower those receiving care to have more choice and control over how, when and where they receive their support and what that support looks like. And we've heard Bruce talk about the NDIS this morning. This is a significant change from the traditional way that supports have been provided in Australia. Mostly service providers have received block funding to deliver particular kinds of supports to those that require them. The organisation would hold the funds and decide on how the services would be delivered, and the clients essentially would take the services that were available to them. Once these reforms are complete, people with care needs will hold their own funds for support and will select their service providers who offer services that meet their needs and preferences. But we're interested in what that means for the carers that support them. With choice and control for the person with care needs, we wanted to look at whether there is more or less choice and control for the carer. Is there more or less work for the carer to do, and what can we do particularly to support carers in this transition to the new system? So I'd like to begin by setting the scene by giving some Australian context. Australia has a population of 23.6 million people, and of these, over 1 in 8 is providing informal care, which is 2.86 million people. That seems to be a fairly consistent stat worldwide. There are 825,000 primary carers in Australia, providing 1.9 billion hours of care in 2015, with a replacement value of $60.3 billion. Where I come from in Victoria, which is the blue bit down the bottom there, consultations were around the need to be well prepared for planning. They're planning meetings with the NDIS by attending as many information sessions as possible, by thinking about the goals that they had for themselves and, of course, for the person with the disability, and to think of those in terms of their short-term, their medium-term and their long-term goals. They needed to understand the current services that were being provided to the person with a disability and to them themselves, in order to know what should stay the same: information, education, tools, skills and confidence to work with the NDIS to develop a clear, quality and comprehensive plan that met the needs of the care recipient as well as the carer, and to be able to negotiate the services and supports required for them to implement that plan. The project used an iterative approach, an iterative process of action research to consider feedback from each workshop, from both participants and the presenters, in order to inform the development of the subsequent workshops. The initial workshops focused on the implementation of the NDIS plan and covered skills, knowledge and tools to assist the carers with selecting service providers, negotiating agreements with those providers, monitoring the service provision and problem solving. Overall, the participants in these workshops saw an increase in their confidence and their knowledge as a result of attending the workshops. Self-ratings of knowledge and skill for implementing an NDIS plan increased by between 30 and 50% across 4 measures. Generally, the older family carers attending the workshops rated themselves more highly than those younger carers or caring for younger people, which perhaps reflected the length and experience they had in caring. Workshop participants also commented on the value of talking to other carers, hearing their experiences of the NDIS planning process. Bringing people together gave them the opportunity to learn from each other and benefit from peer support. Most of the workshop participants were interested in sharing their contact details with others to enable them to remain in touch with each other and establish an informal community of interest. Feedback from the carers attending those workshops was then used to inform the development of a range of topics for a second phase of workshops. We've heard numerous times, and not least from the Baroness yesterday, about the power of using carer stories to educate, demonstrate and to deliver messages. So we used video clips of carers telling their own stories to highlight key points throughout the workshops. In the workshops we used real carer stories to highlight those areas of learning we were trying to achieve. So this is just one of the ones that we used, and it was about monitoring service delivery.
When you're starting out, the first, you just go on a day-to-day basis. You don't look to even the end of the week. If you can get through that day, that's a good day, you know, without too much happening. So it's a gradual process of, you let them go to school, you let them go, you know, to go on a camp. You slowly test, you know, is it going to be a good outcome if I allow him to go on the camp? It's hard.
Now, I've great confidence in them, and I can go to them at any time and say, how is she progressing, or is there any problems, or if she has a problem, that's really discussed openly.
It's not easy at all advocating for yourself and for your child, particularly when you're in very challenging situations, because you're so emotionally connected to the situation. It's very hard to step out of that, and you shouldn't have to be honest. You shouldn't, but sometimes it's easier if you do.
You know when she comes home what her mood is, and sometimes I'll ask her why she like this, but she won't sort of say, so I see the coordinator and he sort of fills me in on the little, something may have happened, something triggered or something, and he just fills me in.
The program has open days, which I usually make sure I attend, and also I ring up now and then, just on, you know, every couple of weeks, to speak to the manager and sort of just get a report on how things are going with Alison.
If there were issues, I believe I'd see that in mixed behaviour. When he comes home, he doesn't say too much, but I can tell he's settled, he's happy, so I kind of think things are okay there.
If there's any problems, the Employment Training Services offers a regular time for clients and family members to meet with their staff.
I do think the staff are approachable, and I have spoke to management before, so if I had a real issue I would speak to them, but no, things are okay at the moment, but it is something to be mindful of.
So based on the feedback from the first workshops, we identified topics for a series of more intensive, focused workshops that would assist carers in implementing and managing the participants' NDIS plan themselves and for their care recipient. The evaluation of these workshops demonstrated that the carers found them very useful, and they felt more skilled and more confident moving forward. And whilst the workshops were focused on assisting carers to care within the context of the NDIS, and therefore focused on carers for people with a disability, the skills, the knowledge and capacity gained through the workshops are applicable across all carers, and we've adapted the programs for carers of people who are aged or who have dementia, and those caring for someone with a mental illness. So from the work that we've done through the projects and consultations that I've described, we've made some conclusions about what's important to carers in an environment of self-directed or consumer-directed care. Carers want the person they care for to get the best possible support that they can, and they want to be the best support that they can be in supporting that person. They want access to support, advice and information when and where they need it, opportunities to improve or develop the skills and knowledge they need to work within these new systems, and they need regular opportunities to do that. They want to be acknowledged as a critical part of the planning and service delivery process, as well as being somebody with needs in their own right. And they want self-directed services and systems that don't mean more work, more pressure and more stress for them as a carer. They need to relieve the pressure. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Kate. Have we got some questions at all for Kate? Perhaps any reflect? Yes, Chloe, yes.
I just wondered whether any kind of very effective services have developed to support families to do that admin where they chose to, whether that's been a kind of growing area where they're called kind of brokerage services in England, whether those have grown up or whether they were kind of accessible and affordable and families found them helpful.
There are a number of agencies developing tools to help families, self-manage their budgets and do the reporting that they need to do and so on. The NDIS itself has a portal where families can do some of that, but obviously that's a growing market of both physical people trained to help as well as tools that can help manage that as well. Yep.
Question at the back.
It was an interesting presentation. I'm from Ireland and we're going back in this direction in Ireland, but the last time we tried it, one of the things that happened was carer families, I think you used the phrase cashing out or whatever, but they took the entire budget and then they began to spend it paying within the family, paying family members to provide some of the care. And the state got very upset about that. And I'm wondering, has Australia thought about that as an issue, and are there any rules in the current scheme?
Absolutely, it's been considered. In the aged care CDC, the money will still be held by an agency and managed by an agency. In the NDIS, as I understand it, if you choose to fully self-manage, then you can pay whoever you want to deliver the care that's in your plan. So it has to be along with the, in line with the plan. But if it's partly managed, then providers need to be registered with the NDIS. Yeah. I'm just aware there is someone from the agency in the room, so I'm hoping I'm not saying the wrong thing.
I'm happy to talk.
Yeah.
Hello, we are in Belgium also conducting a program of workshops for parents, but now we are wondering how we can reinforce dialogue with the person with disability, because it's not only the parents or the family carers who have to decide what are the needs, but what is the voice of the person himself. Do you have something in your workshops that copes with that?
Not specifically in our workshops, although part of what we're working with carers on is how to work with the person they care for to identify their goals and to help them to articulate them and then to help them to implement their plan. So the NDIS and CDC are very much focused on the person with the care needs, and our work is around supporting carers both to support them as well as have their own needs met. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Okay, thanks very much. I think if that's all the questions, need to make sure there's no more questions at all. Got any other questions for other panellists at all before we close proceedings? Okay, well, thanks very much, everyone, and thank you to the panellists. I want to show your appreciation. Thank you.